actually really good. And later on, I looked it up, and it was something that was edible, but
Right.
and I wasn't going to die, but I never thought I was. I needed to, like, it's not normal, but like here in Costa Rica where I'm living, everybody has some kind of herbal medicinal stuff growing in their backyard, and the natural instinct, even if it's not their backyard, they know how to get it from the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Natural instinct. Women know this. You have a headache, you have a migraine, you have this, you have that. They know to go, and they usually make a tea out of it. And they
A
may
tea.
not know the name of the plant, but they know which plant to use. And
Yes.
I've noticed, like, everybody has that knowledge. It isn't, you know, of course the world is shifting and people think they need to get a pill now, but that isn't lost, and it
Nope.
is now being found. So
Rediscovered. Yes.
rediscovered,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep going back to because everything you're saying is like, I'm sure right now my grandmother did not know the genus species of the plant that she was using or tell you like the name exactly the way it was, written out, but she knew when to harvest it. She knew when to
Hmm.
plant things.
Hmm.
And I'm talking like after the second full moon of after, the first quarter. Like, she knew all of those things. And she wasn't looking at the calendar. She knew where the sun was,
Hmm.
what phase the moon was in. And that's how she was going to plant things, or that's when she was going to harvest things. And I never paid attention to those things in that way. But that's when you're connected, not just to your land, not just to the land that's on your property, but the land, the big capital L. You are connected with that. The moon, the stars, the sun, the plants, the soil, all of those things that you were talking about in terms of those five elements. When to water, what type of rain is this going to be? All of those things come together to make a beautiful plant, a plant that was designed for your health and
For you.
well-being.
For
Literally,
you,
it's
right.
for you. Yes, it's for you. And yet we rape and pillage so often and just take and dilute it to the
Yes.
point that it's ineffective.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know you have tons and tons of stories in terms of how you empower your patients to address these kind of chronic conditions. What are some of the things that stick out to you in terms of your experience, not only as a healer or facilitator of healing, but as you move from conventional medicine as an OB to now this more expansive approach?
My own experience is just watching thousands of people take their power back, basically,
Yeah.
realizing that the integrative natural avenue is a lot simpler and has gifts that are much more accessible and doesn't really need an MD to tell you to get naked and roll in the mud. And therefore, I feel very empowered because all of a sudden there's a system with the
Yes.
five elements I was talking about that you can
Hmm.
really empower people to take their power back and get well. And as you watch fatigue and sleep issues and pains and mood stuff going away, people feel better, but you are also like, okay, this is where I'm going to keep putting my efforts. So I don't teach doctors anymore. I don't even see a lot of patients anymore because I feel like
Right.
it's still the biggest obstacle between health and not health is
Yeah.
having to go see someone, whether it's an integrative doctor or not an integrative doctor. It's still an expensive endeavor, which is outside of your power.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so my experience has been the simpler it gets, the more powerful we get, and the easier it is to be a warrior in this space.
Yes, I love that. A warrior in this space.
Hmm.
Now you have your own line. You talked about this earlier, but you have your own line of supplements, MD Prescriptives. Talk to me about how the formulation, how you came up with it, what need it was filling that you feel was completely non-existent in the landscape at the time. And I know they're definitely probably built on that 5 point model. But tell me how you kind of put this line of supplements together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question because in the world of thousands of brands of supplements, and I'm a doctor, why am I making supplements? So, about 18 years ago, I started measuring thousands of nutritional tests, and I would try to correct them, and they really made a big difference to the hormones. They activated the hormones. And I found that, basically most people needed between 25 and 50 of zinc and 200 to 400 of selenium and 500 to 1,000 of chromium and similar, like for 5 different things, activated B vitamins. And when people started taking them, they felt so much better. And I was like, this is great, but it's also terrible at the same time because it was against my one drop creates a ripple effect. You're sitting here with 5 different bottles with a lot of junk in them. And so I had this epiphany because no other company was willing to make what I wanted. So I had this epiphany. I'm like, what happens if you take out the preservatives, the dyes, the fillers, and especially the mag stearate, and you put it in a VeggieCap? Well, guess what happens? You can fit all those things into one bottle. And so that became Essentials Multi. I put it in a glass bottle. That was my first thing I made. I never realized I would ever make anything more than that because I thought, okay, this is it. And another layer was just that every batch is blessed by our team, which is a group of women. Powerful goddesses. Don't want to say witches, but like we get that batch and we're like blessing it, which is a huge benefit, I feel, more than all the things I'm saying. Then I realized that we need a really powerful magnesium. And I tried every form and found an acetyl taurate in Belgium, which really stops the burning of nutrients and hormones. So that means if you really get on that and really load it up, you don't need as much hormonal support and you don't need as many vitamins and stuff. You could probably live off the land if that was the case. So magnesium, acetyl taurate was a second. And then Adrenal Forte, when I hit my burnout, is really necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yes.
I started to follow like Jacob Teitelbaum, and I forgot the name of the other one, but these books and their protocols, which were very complicated, but like I had to take 13 supplements in order to make that work. And nobody with that kind of fatigue can actually succeed taking that many things. So I went to Dr. Marshall and we muscle tested all the ingredients and figured out what are the powerful ingredients and stuck it in Adrenal Forte in one bottle. So it had like cordyceps, eleutherococcus, rhodiola, panax ginseng, all those. And then the thyroid, because you know that the adrenal, if it's off, it always affects the thyroid. And that's one thing I think we really miss. It doesn't matter if you're in the normal range, you're definitely not in optimal function. So I would say those are the 3 top ones that I feel turn lives around because you don't have to take more than 4 or 5 capsules a day. And even though that's even a lot, but at least it's not like 20 things. And then the more you practice simplification of life and getting in the sun and all those things, the less of that you even need. So supplements are just that. They're complementary to a habit and lifestyle. People want to just take the supplement. They come to an integrative, they're like, what supplement should I take? I'm like, no, go home and simplify your life, say no, and start breathing. Step 1.
Yes.
Then come back to me. Because it's a mentality, right? Like, okay, this doctor's not going to hand me a prescription drug, but you're still going to be handing them a supplement. That's what people are programmed for.
Right.
But
and they want that quick fix, that tangible thing. I'm like, it's a thing, but this is temporary. It's still temporary.
Yeah.
Because the moment you stop this and you're not changing anything else in your life, you're going right back to where you came from. It's temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary.
It's a stopgap measure, if anything else, because I do want you to address some of that branch treatment, but it's not addressing the root.
Yes.
And if we continue to chase that symptom, that's all we're going to do is chase the symptom. Meanwhile, the stuff that's causing the symptom is getting worse.
Yes.
And trying to address the root and the branch at the same time is can be tricky, but it's worth it, and it's worth doing the work in order to get to that space. Because you can't ever unknow once you get you've done the work to heal.
Right.
You don't ever want to go back, and you also never lose that knowledge because now you know your body in ways that you never did before.
Right. And I've had a lot of proof of the fact that I'm one of these people who falls off the wagon and gets on the wagon and falls off the wagon, and I don't really believe in taking supplements every day. And I know that if I let go of my modern living condition, I'm just fine, even without any supplements, because I'm using the sun and the earth and everything. Um, but I know that if I'm living that life where I've got a bunch of scheduling and all that kind of stuff, and I don't take the essentials or I don't take the magnesium, I can feel it. And most people can feel it. But we have to realize our power doesn't come from taking great supplements. Right now, yeah, our soil is poor, the nutritional tests are low, and yes, you might have to take something. But what would happen if you slowed your nervous system down and it stopped burning through all your nutrients? Then you wouldn't even need the supplement, right? So it's much more power when you realize that there's a way for you and a route for you to get off of the reliance on stuff.
So pulling yourself whilst being in this environment, you don't have to let the environment become you.
Yeah.
Because again, not everyone's going to be able to pick up and let's say go to Costa Rica and live in a blue
Right.
zone. However, you can create that ecosystem by the choices that
Anywhere.
you make.
You
And
can
most of us are not willing to do that.
anywhere. I've seen as many people come from that modern life and come to Costa Rica and crash and burn.
Yeah.
Because it's mental. It's not like I happen to be living here for a lot of reasons. My daughter went to school here, and it's easy for me to connect to nature and get downloads and be able to share that. And it's easier
Right.
for me to live here. But you can do these things in any part of the world, and they work just
Yeah.
as well. And you can do the opposite here, and it will create the diseases that you don't want.
Yes.
So it's not about the where you live, it's about how you live.
How you
How you eat, not what you eat. Are you eating together on a dining table, or are you sitting in front of a TV with a little dinner and all disconnected? Like, they are different methods. It's the how you live that really creates the journey.
Yeah, I love that. It's the how. The how that we need to focus on, not just the what. Um, so as we kind of start wrapping up, what other resources do you suggest for our readers who are and listeners who are not just curious about MD prescriptives, but really the healing aspect, the vitality aspect of health and wellness? What other aspects of restoration and regeneration do you feel would be beneficial?
Would be helpful. So first of all, they need to listen to your podcast, because you're obviously oriented that way. And there's lots of people out there with social media things. I personally started my Instagram last year because my daughter told me that I could sing to the forest, but nobody will hear me. I don't agree, but I did launch the Instagram. It's called Take My Power Back _initiative. And
Okay.
it is aimed at empowering people to be in the driver's seat for their own health with very little intervention from a doctor, if not none. So it does a lot of do-it-yourself. It talks a lot about these 5 elements, about protocols that you can use on your own. And yes, sometimes you need a doctor, but the aim is, this is what's going to solve our disparity, I feel, is to get in touch with these things. And there's a lot of people talking about them, and I talk about what I know about all these things and what I've experienced. So I do that on that channel. I think that could be helpful.
Okay, I love it. And I've been there and it is great. So definitely an excellent resource. And any parting words of wisdom, Dr. Pati?
Let it go and let it flow. Like, if your life flows, you will be well, which means you unrelentingly say no to anything that doesn't fire you up. You unrelentingly take care of yourself. You unrelentingly say no to everything that you're approached with, unless it's exactly in your golden circle. I have this golden circle exercise I do. It's like I'm in the middle of that golden circle, and if I'm golden, I can warm up all the other planets around me. So,
That's powerful.
put
That's
yourself
powerful.
first.
That was a very powerful image. I like it, just like hearing it kind of warmed me up. So yes. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pati. I'm going to make sure we get all these resources and things connected, because I want everyone, wherever you are, whenever you're in Costa Rica, to check her out, to visit, to connect, so that we can continue to spread this message far and wide. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that.